He came up against your shield. The enemy came up against your name. Hello, everyone. I want to welcome you on this Tuesday. It is Tip Tuesday. It is Terrific Tuesday. It is Awesome Tuesday. Welcome to God Imprint, where we are teaching, inspiring, and encouraging women around the world to seek God and pray. Today, we are promoting women's health. You probably wonder and say, Joy, what day is today? What month is today? Why are you doing this Health Month Day? Well, remember we told you that this year God is doing something new, Isaiah 43. And in that new thing God is doing, it is waking us up to be aware of who we are, our health, and our mission, and where we are going. So today, as we are talking about women's health, I want to share this song. Remember, we start always with a worship of praise. The song is by Jacqueline Carr. Is You Will Win. Why do I have this song to start with today? I am starting with this song because I need you, woman of God, warrior, to know that you are a winner. You are a winner. Despite whatever you may be going through, you feel defeated. You feel like everything is spinning. You feel like the enemy has the upper hand. You feel like, oh my goodness, Joy, 3 jobs. I know this woman who started 3 jobs. She started her day at 4 a.m. and does not get home until 12 midnight. Think about that. 4 a.m. you start your day, but don't get home until midnight. That means for half of a 24-hour, you are constantly working, and yet the means are not met. So that's why we're doing promoting health, so that you can take care of yourself. A health of a woman is what determines the health of a family. Taking care of yourself physically, taking care of your mental, taking care of your spiritual, taking care of you every single day. And I have a special guest for us to tell us about how exactly we can do that. Not just as a woman to take care of ourselves at home, but also how do we promote our health in the health field, or how do you promote your health in terms of where you work at the doctor. You know, the doctors say you should be drinking chloroquine. I'm just naming medicine out there. You know, a doctor say you should be drinking whatever medicine, and you just say yes sir or yes ma'am, but you know your body better. So I have Coach Audrey here, and she is going to come up on the stage. I want you all to welcome our guest here, Coach Audrey Blake, who's going to talk to us about our health. And we're just going to have this conversation, and I want to welcome you all to just, first of all, think about this. You are a winner. Whether the enemy has come up against your marriage, whether the enemy has come up against your children, whether the enemy has come up against your health, you are a winner. And I want you to just have this song stuck in your mind as we are having this conversation. Welcome to the stage, Coach Audrey. How are you today?
I am awesome. How are you?
I am great. I wanted to just start with this first. How's the weather on your side? It is freezing cold up on the, I don't know, north side of Georgia. It feels cold. It was warm yesterday. And today I'm
Yes,
like, oh, I need a sweater. How are you? How's the weather where you are? How are
it is
you?
a bit of a chill in the air.
Mhm.
Of course, I'm inside, so that's why you see me a little sleeveless, but it's a little nippy, as we say.
Little Nippy, there you go. Can you tell us a little bit about who you are? What do you do? Because you know we want to talk about promoting health, but I want the audience to just hear from you as a coach. What do you do as a coach, as a life coach, and what is it at your heart about women's health?
Well, thank you for having me, first of all. It was a pleasure. I am a certified professional life coach, certified by the Life Coaching Institute of Orange County, California. And so, as a life coach, my passion is helping others to be the best version of their authentic self. Now, that ties also into my lifelong career professionally, I have worked in public health and health care, in hospitals, at state level health departments, setting up programs to help people access good health care. And so, my passion, again, in order for you to be the very best version of you, who you were intended to be, who God created you to be, I help to promote that and giving you the tools and strategies to do that. So that's kind of it in a nutshell, just really promoting self advocacy and um, really asking questions and doing those things that will help your health, because you know health is, like they say, if you ignore it, it will go away.
Wow, thank you. Thank you, Coach. She is our health advocate teaching us how to advocate for ourselves and how to basically find the best version of ourselves. And I'll say the first one, I'll be the first one to say and admit that for a very long time after first baby, second baby, third baby, I was kind of like going slowly out of touch, and it became all about the children. And I'm guilty because it was a point where I will go in the store, I say I'm going to shop for me, and guess what, I will leave the store with all children clothes and nothing of me. So, can you talk to us a little bit about what does it mean for us to find the best version of ourselves, and how do we do that?
Well, first of all, it's and I thank you for your honesty. You know, a lot of us do that as women. We have just been taught to take care of things, and we take care of everything and everyone except ourselves. And we have to give ourselves permission to first love yourself. I call that's part of my company Fly. First love yourself. It's not selfish, it's imperative. I always tell people, how can you give? How can you pour from an empty cup, so to speak? So you have to make sure that you are taking care of you. I know we've heard this lots of times about flying on a plane. What do they tell you? Put your own face mask on first. You know, so you have to. So it really means listening to your body. It means our bodies tell us when it's had enough. And like you, I used to just go insanely, particularly when my children were younger. I have two adult sons now. When they were younger, I just went constantly from work to home to practice to schools, and then went back to school while doing all of that. And my body stayed very ill. I can speak about that more if you like to know, because this has driven me to really want to help others.
Hmm. Yes, I hear that, the body says, and guilty women, you out there, you're watching me, and we like to define. I want to talk specifically, even for African American and Black women in general, women of color. There is this conception or stereotype of the strong woman. And I would like us to tap into that, of the danger that it has caused to our people, into terms of health, of that belief that I'm the strong woman, that I gotta hold the whole universe up on my shoulder. If we can tap just a little bit of how does that harm us, or how can we help ourselves to learn to find that gentleness, the touch in us, in order to that self-love you mentioned, the self-love, the self-care.
And yes, self-care is self-love. I like to start
Mhm.
out by saying that. It's interesting you mentioned about the strong Black woman and our health and how it impacts us. I will be this year, God willing, doing a study. I'm also a doctoral student at Wome University.
Woohoo!
Yeah, thank you. And my study is African American women, the lived experiences of African American women with OBGYN services in Georgia and South Carolina. Why? Because I found out that we as African American women are dying at 3 times the rate of other races and excitement groups after giving birth. And I was just blown away by that in 2023. I have that right? 22. I'm thinking graduation date. I was blown away that here we are in
Yes.
2022 in the United States, and that is a true statistic. So that's one thing. So it is impacting us.
Mm-hmm.
And my study will find out more about why. But I can tell you from personal experience, I do have an autoimmune disorder. And it's called Hashimoto's, so that's no secret for me. And the thing I learned about it, it is stress induced. It really
Mm-hmm.
is. Now, there is some genetics, but it is really aggravated by stress because we go and we go and we think we have to be superwoman, all super women all the time. And our body is saying, whoa, enough, enough. And if you're not careful, after years and years of intense hypo stress, you cannot stay out of line with a state of homeostasis. You cannot stay in
Mm-hmm.
fight or flight mode constantly. And that's what we do. And it internalizes literally in our bodies. And so our
Mm-hmm.
bodies start to attack itself. So
Yeah. Wow. That, I mean, so what I'm hearing from you is that stress related disease. And one of them that I can name as well is hypertension.
yes,
Hypertension is a stress related disease of many of us. I'm a respiratory therapist, registered respiratory therapist, and I see, I've had patients who come in the hospital, and you just look on the face.
right.
I say, God brought you here, woman of God, so you can have a rest.
Yes.
you know, God brought you in this space so you can rest. And I don't know how we can emphasize on self-care, self-love. I love how your tagline is love you first. You got to love. How
Right.
do we engage into that? How can you name at least two practices of loving one without feeling guilty? Like I said, for me, every time I'll go in the store, I say, okay, my husband just gave me a time off to
Right.
myself. I'm going in the store and I'm Ross. I'm a Ross.
Oh yeah,
You can't put me
definitely.
close to a Ross
Yes.
store.
That's not the right one, but yes.
And the moment I step into Ross, suddenly the mind goes, children, 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 close, 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 close. And I find myself on the close section. So, how do I develop that sense of worth, the sense of it's okay for me to enter in the store and just buy my clothes and not touching the kids' clothes and not feeling guilty?
Well, just realizing that you deserve it. Again, just giving yourself permission. A lot of this comes from giving ourselves permission. Give yourself permission to be tired. Give yourself permission to say, I want something new. Yes, little Susie or Johnny or whoever could do they're always growing, but I deserve something. And another thing that I encourage people to do, because busy people always say they don't have time to rest, okay, until they just fall out. But just give yourself small increments. Even if you just take 10 minutes, start at 5 minutes, and just stop what you're doing throughout your day. It could be on your lunch hour if you don't have that much control of your schedule, or if you have more control, but you just don't know how to stop, like some of us, just stop and just breathe. Do some deep inhaling, inhale gratitude, exhale love. Start to think of all those beautiful things that you have going that God has blessed you with. Even if your day is not going really great, think about the fact that you can inhale and you can exhale. And when you're doing that, that means all your bodily systems are functioning. They may not be functioning as well as you like, but they're working because you can inhale and you can exhale. So just start with the small things, doing those things that you like. Get back in touch with your childhood self and say, what did I used to like to do? What brought me joy? And if it's not childhood, because I realize that not everyone has had a great childhood, there may be trauma. But if there's some period of time in your life when you were truly happy, what was that? And I found that it's sometimes just the simple things. Like I was a child, I used to love to run in the woods and climb trees. So now just going for a walk, being out in nature brings me peace and calm.
I love that one. It say give yourself permission. And that is something I have to work on. That's definitely of giving myself permission to just go out, Joy. And talking about giving yourself permission, I want to say that I have my husband. He will always say, you know what? Why don't you go do this? Why don't you do? He offers sometimes that, and sometimes I'll step out, and the whole time I'm out, I'm wondering, oh my gosh, I wonder if he got the bottle right. I wonder if he's doing this. I wonder, and I'll be there instead of enjoying that time off, enjoying that rest, enjoying the free time. And even to the extent, as I say, you take me out, I go in the store, I'll be start talking about, grabbing clothes for my kids. I'm on time off. My husband just gave me time off. And yet my mind is at home. Oh my gosh, what if I forgot this? What if I didn't tell him this? What if I didn't tell him this? What if I didn't do this? And it takes away the pleasure of resting. It takes away the pleasure of just enjoying God's moment.
Right.
And I love that. Give yourself permission. It gotta come from yourself. And it's something that I'll have to work with and
It's
on,
okay.
because I
Yeah.
know it's
Well,
I
and
am
you said,
admitting.
well, that's good. And that's like they say, admitting the issue is the first step, right?
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
but the other thing you said is profound, that word moment. Because I
Mhm.
began, God has been showing me so many things. And God is like, a great life is made up of millions of magical moments or miraculous moments.
Mm.
And
Woo.
we keep thinking it's when I, like for me, I'm going to school. It's when I get my PhD, or it's when I do this, or when I get this. No, be happy now, your moment, this very moment, and start to recognize your moments, because so
Mhm.
many times we can become so absorbed. And as mothers, we do this because we're planners of what to do next and what has to be done
Mhm.
until we miss what is. So give yourself permission to
Yes.
get out. Give yourself permission to do absolutely nothing sometimes,
Mhm.
because it will always be there. Take it from me.
I like that. It always be there. It will always be there. One of the wisdom that I had gotten when I was pregnant of my last pregnancy was, Joy, the dishes are always going to be there. The clothes are always going to be there. Be present right now with your pregnancy. And I thought that was a profound advice, to be present. As women, we have to learn to be present. I want to welcome our guests that are coming in at this time here. You're probably wondering what is going on. This is a Tuesday. I have a phenomenal guest with us, Coach Audrey, who is giving us tips on promoting health, our health. I want to ask you, woman of God, I want to ask you, servant of God, whatever you call yourself, housewife, stay home mom, or CEO, I want to ask you, how is it with your health? How is it with your health? That's the conversation we're having right now. And we just have been having a great 19 minutes this far of talking about how we can promote our health. One of the first tips that Coach Audrey gave us is the self-love, loving yourself. How do you love yourself? But just taking time for yourself, appreciating what God has given you, how God created you. Take care of yourself. Listen to your body. And then we're talking about, the Black women's health, how we constantly trying to be strong. Are you guilty? You don't have to be Black or anything colors, but I know women, you naturally want to be the strong and mighty one. And this time here, we are receiving this powerful, powerful conversation and wisdom on how to take care of yourself. Don't think you're the mighty hero that you need to be. It's okay to say, you know what? I can leave the dishes down and I can just sit on the couch, put my feet up on the table and just sip in cold, nice water and enjoy the day. And the other one is give yourself permission. Give yourself permission to thrive. Give yourself permission to do that business you always wanted. Give yourself permission to say, you know what, today it's gonna be about me. Have a time of just you. And I'm just thrilled that she said yes to come here on this platform and share with us. And we're just gonna keep on transitioning. We have been talking about just the individual, the woman herself. Now I want to move about the issue of our health. Our health. You know, when our kids are sick, we frantically panic. And we think that everyone out there will have a solution because you're panicking, you're frightened, and you just want somebody to heal your baby. When my child is sick, I thank God. I'll say that I grew up in a big family. So, and then I also have a healthcare background. When the child is sick, the first reaction is you feel a fever, put a cold, a cold, what is this? A cold towel on them, strip them off. And I'm kind of old school. So, it's that kind of for me fever, take clothes off, put a cold towel, and then start processing. But there are some who first reaction is 911 because the fever is striking and I need somebody to figure out and fix this now. Can we talk a little bit about the best, not, I won't say the best practice because it's different in a different family, different scenario. But as a mom with your child there, how do we advocate for ourselves in the hospital so that we do not surrender our kids just okay, it's the doctor, do whatever you want to do, or even for ourselves, how do I go into the hospital in that state of advocating for myself in the way that I can get the best health care?
Well, first of all, say, I do have a lot of respect for Western medicine. Having said that, however, I believe truly that our bodies were designed to heal itself.
Mhm.
So I fall somewhere in the middle there. That's just me personally.
Yes.
And the main thing that I tell people, because I've worked in programs working with infants and toddlers with disabilities in hospitals. And so doctors, they learn. And we've heard this before, right? They're practicing
Mhm.
medicine. And while they're very knowledgeable, you know, um, they're still God. It's still God. And so learning to question two things, learning to question things. So just because your doctor says we're going to put him or her on this, and that, or we're going to give you this, and that, question what are my options? Then don't just question, but research. If it's not an emergent situation, then you have some time to say, you know what, let me think about that, and give me my options. Also, I would encourage you as a parent. I didn't do it with my children, but I did it with my granddaughter. I'm a grandmother now. Is to learn CPR, and there are places that you can go and learn that skill. And that's cardiopulmonary resuscitation, if I'm saying that correct. I'm not the expert. I'm speaking to the expert, but learn CPR because that way, if there really is some serious emergency and you do have to reach out for help, you in the meantime may be able to save your child's life. So ask questions. Ask questions.
I love that. Ask question, research, and take CPR. That you just tap in there. Yes, cardiopulmonary resuscitation. I think once women, you can hate me, but you can thank me later. Right now, and I agree with you. I couldn't agree more. And I think every woman, when they give birth in the hospital, they should have them take at least what they call a CPR, a basic fundamental, because your first reaction when emergency comes is, what do do I do? What do I do? What do I do? But in CPR, what they teach, the first thing is when there's an emergency, is to stop, look around, where's danger before you can go to the body. And what does that do is give you time to breathe so
Yes.
that you don't take irrational decision. And I love that CPR. I think, yes, I am total. I can sign up on that, I'll vote. I'll be the first one to vote on that. Take CPR. CPR, my brother-in-law, one of my brother-in-law, uh, unfortunately passed, and during COVID time, and when they were explaining to us about that scenario that happened, he just had lunch and he said, I'm going to rest, and and as I go, and when I feel better, I'll get up so we can do what he wanted to do with my sister, his wife. But my sister heard this sound upstairs, and she thought, maybe let me go check what's going on. But when she ended up upstairs at the room, find him,
Mhm.
some kind of foam coming out of his mouth, and I think eyes already convoluted and everything. And at that time, my mind was like, CPR, you know what is the first thing to do in this situation? How do you turn, call 911? What are you supposed to do in this time? And it was that moment I started thinking about, what if every woman in their household will know CPR? How many lives will be saved by now?
Yes.
And I love how you mentioned that, the basics, question, do your research, and have the basic CPR knowledge. Thank you very much. That just Yes, ma'am. Yes, oh, yes, I love that. And I want to ask another question of how, with the basic in the health field, as a mom, as a wife, as a sister. Let's talk a little bit about our young people. How do we encourage them to take care of themselves, of their health? Now I realize, like never before. We are living with a generation where, I did this program with a friend of mine in February, which is the teen dating violence,
Mhm.
you know, month. I was like, what? I did not know there's such thing as teen dating violence. But I would like for us to have a conversation around how, as mom, to be aware of our teenager. How do we promote health, so that our children, our young people, do not find themselves involved in sexual relationship, because that's ramping right now. It's like, if you don't love me, if you love me, you gotta sleep with me. If you love me, gotta smoke this. If you love me, how do we promote, how do we encourage young people in their health, to take care of their health? If you could talk a
Well,
little bit of that.
that's a great question. Open communication, number one. As I alluded earlier, I have been, well, I am a parent, but they're both grown now, of young men. And when I was raising them as youngsters, I also just happened to have been running a program at a hospital in South Carolina, in Columbia, called Teen Talk. I started it in 2000. It was a way to help young people make good choices. It started off as a pregnancy prevention. Of course, just as you mentioned, you know, a conservative state may not want certain things to be shared in certain ways. So my thing was, we need to equip students with the ability to make good choices, and so healthy choices. And we did like rap sessions, as we used to call it back in the day. We took lunch to the schools, and I hired people that went into the schools and with parents' permission. And we talked about topics like teen violence and decision making and peer pressure and drugs and how to, say no and alternatives to that. And what I would tell parents and in the community is, we have to have the conversations, talk to our teens, and be real with them about the dangers that are out there. Just don't try to scare them, because what I found was, even with the church, saying just say no, but how do you just say no? What are the scenarios you might run into? How do you handle those scenarios? So really just having open, honest conversation. With my children, I basically told them about their father and he's deceased now, unfortunately, but our maybe lack of judgment sometimes. I was open and honest with them. And as a result, they felt like they could come to me with anything. And as a result, they made better choices. You know, help them learn from your uh, poor judgment from the past, because none of us, I like to think, were perfect as teenagers. Some of us might have been better at it than others, but they're all things. So just having a conversation, that means a lot.
Yes.
And may I add one other thing just came to me in listening. I used to go
Mhm.
on radio shows and I talked to teens, and what they told us was, we need somebody to hear us. They're always talking at us, but
Mhm.
no one's listening to us. So in order
Mhm.
for us to share all this wisdom with them and good decision making, we have to hear what they're thinking. We
Mhm.
might be talking to them about teen violence, and that's not their issue. They're making a decision whether they're going to smoke marijuana with their friends. So listening to them and then using that information to share good choices and decision making with them.
Mhm. Thank you. Thank you. Listening and also making sure that we share our story and in the way that they feel okay, that I can come to mommy, I can come to daddy to share this. And that's so true. That's so true. I like to tap into the postpartum depression. And the reason that I want to tap into that, because it's not it's not really advocate, it's not really shared, it's not really known. It's unless you experience it and and you are going through it, then you go like, what is this? And um I never knew, you know, when I got married, it was just, oh, I'm finally married, and then the children come, I'm like, oh, I got children. But and then there was this big old truck that came along after giving birth, like months later, and it hit my head so hard, I knocked me on the floor. And I was like, okay, what just happened? What just happened to me? And it was then, and also one time, after that episode passed, I was fortunate, like you can see me now, I'm okay. So I was
Right,
fortunate
right.
to, to seek help and talk and even present it in the way, with families, and being aware of that. It was actually on television. I was working in a hospital, and I see a mom committed suicide, and I stopped to listen. What? A mom committed suicide 2 weeks after giving birth, and now her husband started this program with this hospital. It's here in the US, I can't remember the state. But
Mhm.
then the husband started a program with a partnership with the hospital of helping mom postpartum. That's when it hit me that, oh my goodness, this is a serious issue. It did not just happen to me, but it happened, and it has serious consequences. So I know, we're not giving here, I just want to give out there, we're not giving medical advice here. These are suggestions, and this is us promoting women's health for you to be aware of what's happening in your house or to you on your body. And I want us, if you can tap in on promoting, that this is something that happened, and how can we, how can I, as here on God Imprint, how can I be bringing awareness, more best practice or best way to bring awareness about this thing called postpartum depression, in the way of taking care of ourselves. I would like to us to just have a conversation about that, and how to encourage somebody, maybe like Joy, but my mind right now, this is how I feel. What do I do? And what do I say to the doctor? They're giving me all these medication. how do we encourage them? Okay, that's the word I want to say. How can we encourage them in this time here?
Right. Well, and again, I'm going to put that disclaimer out there. I'm not a medical professional,
Yes.
and even though I'm going to be a doctor, God willing, it's in health. It's not an MD, but it is in health services. And I was just looking at some information from the Mayo Clinic because I like, again, you educate, you go to the source. One, recognize the signs. If you're feeling constantly sad and low, know it. It has to do with knowing our bodies. And the first thing I will say is know that it's okay to say you're not okay. We think that, everybody expects us to be a certain way, and you don't have to be. If you're not feeling yourself, if you're having particularly thoughts of harm or harming yourself or others, and again, I am not a doctor, so I have to put that disclaimer out there, but just I have been a licensed social worker before. And so know what's not normal and recognize it. And then number two, reach out to somebody. And then number three, as you just alluded to, the doctor may say, well, we're going to put you on this, and this. Know your options. You don't have to automatically accept every script or prescription that's given to you. Some people may need it, some may not. What are natural methods? And you as the patient, you get to make those choices. But I cannot overemphasize, reach out to someone. Don't just think, well, my sister, my cousin, my mom, my grandma, they all handle this. Why am I not handling it? It doesn't make you less of. It just makes you stronger to know that you're
Yes.
able to say, I'm not okay. Like, I want to, this baby won't stop crying. And I have bad thoughts about what I want to do. You need to tell somebody, but tell a safe person. That's really important. But don't just keep it to yourself because you think you have to be strong.
I love that. Thank you. I love that. And it's so true. For me, it was exactly, I recognize, I was just happy this minute ago. Why, and it's funny because you get the introduction of it during PMS.
Yes,
So
yes,
one day you're up, one day you're down, one
yes,
day you're up, one day you're down, and and the world is like, what's wrong with women?
yes,
I love
yes,
how this individual said it one time and say that we are human being with a hurricane inside of us. Next minute is spinning so fast, and next
yes,
minute is spinning slow, but it's a hurricane. Okay, do not
yes,
dismiss it. So yes, that's just the analogy that came to my mind, is that
yes.
you start this process during PMS, and for
Mhm.
some PMS, for those who like, what's PMS? Okay, period, your period, when you're having your
Yes.
menstrual. And because believe me, coach, for the longest time living in the US, when people were talking about PMS, I'm like, what are they talking about? What's PMS? I have problem with acronym. I was still trying, for the longest time, I was still trying to figure out what FOMO was, and what is FOMO? A fearing of
Mhm,
unknown, I think, something like.
mhm.
I'm like that. I don't do well with crayon. So I had to say what PMS, because somebody out there may be like, what's
Right.
PMS? This is, yes. So your menstrual, your hormone balance is going around, and after giving birth, your body
Mhm.
is trying to adjust and trying to figure out,
Yes,
what just happened. So it hits me so
yes,
hard. And I thank God, because if it wasn't for prayer for me, I prayed, and I also spoke a lot, because wherever, and I want to encourage somebody this as well, that wherever you're going through, talk it out.
yes,
Talk it out, because one of this, I'm not saying about talking to the wall, I'm not saying go in the bush, no. Find somebody who you can talk it out with. This is what I'm feeling, this is what I'm going through.
yes,
Because as women, we have a tendency to talk it out in here. And
Mhm.
that's is the, Joyce Meyer, wrote this book, The Battlefield of the Mind. This is where your battle is going on. So you don't want to have this conversation in here. You want to have somebody, listen, friend, and you go like, Joy, I don't have a friend. Go to church. I'm sure all churches have somebody out there who want to listen to you.
Mhm.
You're never gonna see them again. Just go there and dump
Yes.
dump,
Yes.
dump, dump, and that's it. See you. I'm out of here. I'm never coming here because now somebody knows about my truth. The point is, let it out.
Yes.
Let it out. If kickboxing will help you, go kickboxing.
Right.
you know, but
Right.
let it out. Let it out. This
And
has been
even
a
go ahead. I'm
yeah.
sorry.
No,
And even
I'll just
at
say
the
this is
doctor's
wealth
visit.
information, and I'm just excited. Thank you.
Yes, and even on
Mhm,
your doctor's visit, because that's one of the things I'm going to be looking at in my study,
mhm,
research study, is our patients speaking to their doctors and our doctors asking about this, not just a routine check off, but, knowing that I'm a little bit off topic, but hormones mean a lot. They have tremendous influence. So I'm at a different stage of life. I'm probably a little older than I look. And so I started going through menopause in my 40s after having a surgery. And I saw this difference all of a sudden just happen. And even though I still had my ovaries, I make a joke. My ovaries, like, well, the rest of them are gone. We're not working. and so, and I started having all these symptoms, and
mhm,
and honestly, every woman must make her choice of what's best for her. So I'm not
mhm,
advocating medication, hormone replacement versus natural. But I tried a lot of stuff and it wasn't working, and I knew how I was feeling. Okay,
mhm,
and that's why I life coach people, because I like to be real. And I
mhm,
don't life coach because I've never had any of these experiences, so I'm perfect and I can tell you the perfect way to do it. No, I do it because I've been there. And so I understand what you're going through and I can give you those tools. And I said to my doctor, she was a female, and I looked at her and I said, I'm going to need something before somebody gets hurt. And she
mm,
looked at me and and she started to laugh almost. And then she looked at me and said, I'm so serious. And she
mhm,
immediately heard me. And
mhm,
now she monitors my levels. And so again, this comes from communication. She would have never known that I
mhm,
was experiencing, the hormonal changes. And unless she just decided to do an FSH test. But she did that blood test because I said something. So
mhm.
say something, let
Say
people know
something.
I'm
Yes.
not feeling quite myself. It's
Yes.
okay.
Say something. Say something. I want to type that in the chat. Say something. Say
Yes.
something. Don't just make quiet. Say something. That's some good tips right there. Um for saying something. I remember and we do have doctors, OBs or PCP, which is general practitioners. They're willing to listen. I noticed that sometimes they'll be rushing and typing and asking me a question. I tell my doctor, I say, look at me.
Right.
I have something I need to tell you. And then you'll see they'll stop because for some of them it's time. Like I have 15
Yes.
minutes with I have 20 patients. No, it's my health. You're not counting my health in 15 minutes. I need you to count my health because my life depend on it. I have family that depend on it. And I went with my OB. I say, I'm pregnant and I'm like feeling this kind of thing after I gave birth and she's like, do you think you probably have depression? I say, I don't know. One thing I know is that I have heard about this thing. Don't tell doctors you're feeling depressed because they
Right.
might describe a scar. And she stopped and she looked at me. This is my OB. And she looked at me and she said, I know you as a woman of God and I know you will do the right thing. If you're looking for a counselor, literally, this is what she said. If you're looking for a counselor who is faith based, I can recommend.
See, that's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Because she knew I was not going to tell her because I don't know what you believe. I don't know your faith. So I want to talk to you Christian women out there who like, I can't do the depression thing. I can't talk to, tell, find a faith-based counselor.
Mhm.
who will understand your spirit matter, your spiritual life matter, and your health matter. Don't just say, I'm gonna enter my prayer closet, and just bang on the walls and type the Bible and get the demons out. But God Jesus said he sent us the Holy Spirit, a
Mhm.
counselor. So that means that Holy Spirit is working in somebody to counsel you.
Yes.
That means the Holy Spirit is working in some doctor to give you health. Somebody there has that spiritual gift. And I want to encourage you, don't just, think about war room, prayer closet as the only place. Maybe God wants you to go talk it out.
Right. Absolutely. I'm
You
a
know, you
strong advocate of that, a very strong advocate. Um, yeah, and then I wanted to just, if you had a moment,
Mhm.
I do, I wear a lot of hats. And one of them is with the Morehouse School of Medicine. I got connected with them because of the fact that I am going to do this study. And they're
Mhm.
doing something with preconception care, which uh, we're doing focus groups right now, and I would dare to say if you're interested, reach out because we're still recruiting. And what preconception health is both for men and women, getting your bodies ready so that you can bear healthy children, have a healthy
Mhm.
pregnancy. And what I
Mhm.
love about this project is it's not just women. Women,
Mhm.
I'm all for women's health, right? But you
Mhm.
want that your partner has is healthy as well, because
I
that
love that.
pours into what you produce. So
Mhm.
all of this ties into women's health, right? Having
Mhm.
a healthy mind, body, and spirit. There is a
Mhm.
mind, body, spirit connection. We all know that. And also, when you talked about GYNs, I'm very blessed to have a GYN that she listens and she doesn't just believe in Western medicine. I was blown away one time when she said, try this herb, it'll help. And wow, it does. So it's good to have a doctor that you can have the conversation. I am big on the
Mhm.
conversation.
Yes. Yes. Wow. We are almost to the end of our time. This has been a wealth of information. If you're just tuning in, go ahead on godimprint.com or the facebook.com/, God Imprint, and look on look on for this video and watch it from the beginning, because Coach Audrey have been giving us some encouragement and how women we can take care of our health and how we can actually promote our health. Your health matter. You matter as a person. Imagine that you are made in God's image. God did not just pull you out of somebody's rib. He weaved you in someone's belly. Think about that. That means that when you were born, he breathed in you. And what we're talking about here is your health, how you can promote your health, how you can live a healthy life. Coach Audrey just shared with us. Ask a question, do a research, take CPR, you do self-care, loving yourself, all these wonderful things that she have shared, and how you can best practice a healthy you. Check it out, watch the video full from the beginning, and you will get blessed by this. And right now we're getting close to the end, and I just want to bring Coach Audrey back to just give us some last wisdom on how we can best practice our health, or how what's your advice on healthcare. Other, we talk about research, we talk about questioning on health, but on everyday life, how can women out there watching right now take care of themselves just at home? What's your if you can give us some advice and wisdom on how we can take care of ourselves at home.
Sure. Self check ins. That's my new thing. Check in with yourself daily and throughout the day. Just ask yourself, even if you're doing the laundry, clothes, you're working on your job, in the corporate world, wherever you are, just stop. You have 2 minutes and just ask yourself internally, how am I? Be aware of what you're feeling. Are you tense? Do you need to take some time to take some deep breaths? Do you need to have a break if you're working on someone else's job? Do you need to take a mental health day off? It really is okay. Okay. So just have self check ins and then be aware of how you're doing and then what you need. Ask yourself what you need or find out what you need. And again, that's about it in a nutshell. I life coach individuals, and I also try to just share thoughts and wisdom with you from personal experiences. So check in with yourself.
Amen. Check in with yourself. Check in with yourself. I have to do that every single day. And right now, I am so due. My body's like, maybe I need to see a chiropractor. They can, after giving birth, they can straighten up a little bit that backbone. and and I just brought this information to you all because I have been in the place where my health was in the borderline, both mental, both physical, both body, both mind, both spirit. And uh, and I believe it's because of times such as this, and God had to take me through the process. And I was not ashamed to say I am seeing a counselor to receive help, because I knew that one day, for this reason, to encourage somebody and say, if you're not feeling well, it's okay. If you have people around you who are judging you because you want to see a counselor, they don't care about you then.
Right. Right.
I would just say that plain, and you can judge me for that later. You can criticize me for that for later. But for you, women of God, I call all women women of God. If you have around you people who criticize you because you want to see a counselor and not just stay in your prayer closet, they really don't care about your health. Prayer and counselor works together.
Yes.
You pray home, you talk with somebody, let them walk with you. Think about, I want to end with this scripture. Think about the road to Emmaus. Two wonderful people walking away from their problem, the trouble, because Jesus has died and the crazy world is happening right there. They're going away from the trouble. There were two. Jesus himself sent the disciples two by twos. So I want you to think about those moments. Whenever you feel like, I don't think I can do this, Joy. Well, maybe you have my number, or you have our information email. Go on our website or the hotline, and I'm gonna put it here. I know there's a hotline out there for emergency for those who are going through mental health. If you feel there, call random number and say, listen, I just need to talk. I need to take it out of my system. But I want to encourage you, take care of your health, advocate for yourself. And while I'm at that advocating for yourself, on May 20, we're having a panel discussion where we are bringing people of different background health wise to help you know how you need to take care of yourself, whether it's OB, lactation, mental, and just at home, whatever it might be. We are bringing a panel discussion on May 20th about promoting women's health. And May is mental health awareness. If I was not aware that, oh, I'm going through depression, let me seek help, I don't know where would I be by myself right now. But I had to seek help, and that's what we're doing. How do you seek help? How do you promote your health? And how do you stay healthy? And I was so excited when Coach Audrey said, yes, she can come in today and talk to us. She have taken time out of her busy day and working. So please, please say thank you to her on our behalf. Say thank you, thank you, thank you. And before we close, before we end, Coach Audrey, if you can just share with us how people can reach you with coaching, how they can come and get the session with you, how can book a session with you, and I'll pull up your website while you are sharing.
Yeah, so you can go to my website. It's called First Love You. and that's FIRSTLOVE in the letter U.org. You can also reach out and contact me at FLY, at firstloveyou.org. And I'm also an author, but you'll see that when you go to the website. So thank you. It's been my honor to be a part of this discussion. I always get something from these discussions, so I've learned today as well. And thank you so much for just having the conversation.
Awesome. And thank you for being here. We're just looking forward, and she's going to be closing by the praise of God, hand of God, in the May 20th conversation. Wasn't she awesome, y'all? So thank you again, Coach Audrey, and I look forward to being collaborating with you more and more as we are advocating for women's health. So thank you again, and God bless you. God bless you.
Kudos to you for what you're doing. It's
Thank
great.
you very much.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, y'all. I want to not leave this place without saying thank you to one person in particular. No, let's say two people in particular. I want to say thank you to my hubby. I am learning now you're gonna notice this. I'm shouting out to him because he's the best who makes sure this is happening right now. He's making sure our network is working. He's making sure the videos are on. He's making sure the sound is good. So hubby, mwah, I love you. Thank you. And also thank you because you are the one who always stand by me, encouraging me to stand in health and also having my time off. I thank you for being the best daddy. I thank you for being the best man. You rock. You awesome. I know you're going to get me on this one. I know you're probably blushing right now because you're watching. And also I want to say thank you to our auntie who came from far away to come here and support and help us with the babies and the children. I have a 4-month-old and she's watching him right now so that I can be here. That's how I have this opportunity to come and talk to you about best practice, because we find ways to promote our health, and this is a calling that God has on my life. So I am so thankful and grateful for her to have said yes to come and help us. We love you, Auntie, and we love all of you who are watching and sharing this video to make sure that somebody's health and life is in a better condition. We are here every Tuesdays now. Every Tuesday. May is going to be a special month where we are doing something different. As I said, May 20th, we're doing a panel discussion on health, how you can best promote or advocate for yourself as a woman in your house, for your health in the hospital, and even around. We're going to have an advocate, a woman who's going to come and share. We're going to have somebody who's going to share on how to stop violence against women. We're going to talk about mental health. We're going to talk about OB. We're going to talk about being in a household, even the church. We're going to talk about that. So please share this platform if it has been benefit to you, and invite people. We're going to create a flyer soon. You're going to see it. And we want to say thank you to all our faithful members who have always been here supporting, praying with me on this platform. My name is Joy Kitanga Dabo, and I am thrilled and honored to serve you each and every week here on God Imprint. May you go out and leave the imprint of God's love wherever you go. May God bless you and take care. Bye-bye for now.